Hey Vinyl community, it's Michael. Welcome back to Near Wild Heaven. Today's video is going to be a vinyl finds. This is stuff that I found during the month of February. I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you're all having a good Saturday afternoon. And let's get started. About a month ago, everybody knows Baggy Hi-Fi, John. He did this video about Joe Meek. He was a British record producer in the 60s, and he produced a lot of really good stuff. And one of the things that he did was this band, the Honeycombs. And this is their first album. Here are the Honeycombs singing Have I the Right? A really good song from the early days of the British invasion. This band was kind of unique for the time because they featured a female drummer. Her name is Honey, of course. I get Honey Lantry, and her brother John Lantry plays bass. This is really good. It's really good 60s pop music from England. They do besides Have I the Right, they do Color Slide, Just a Face in a Crowd, She's Too Way Out, Ain't Necessarily So. Just a bunch of standards, but there's little liner notes here by Joe Meek about the recording of the album. But really good stuff. Really good British invasion from 1964. The Honeycombs, Have I the Right? Up next, the Youngbloods. This is their first album from 1967. This is really good. Kind of folky psych a little bit. They're probably best known for their song Get Together, which is on this album. And they also do like The Other Side of This Life, which was, I believe, recorded by Jefferson Airplane too. And they have a similar sound. Excuse me. They have a similar sound to Jefferson Airplane, but like minus the female vocals. But great stuff, really good. If you like late 60s psych, folky psych, it's pretty good. I really enjoyed this one. I'm surprised it was better than I thought it would be. It's the Youngbloods. Youngbloods, their first album. Up next, this is The Attack. This is a British band from 67. This album is, it says it's complete recordings from 1967 and 1968. The band never really released an album during their lifetime. They only released 4 singles. And this album is those 4 singles, all 2 sides of those 4 singles, and plus some like unreleased stuff. But this is really, really good. I really enjoyed this. It's British psych, probably in the vein of like Tomorrow or July, bands like that. There's even like maybe Creation and the early Who sound to this, but it's really good. I really enjoyed this band, The Attack. Now there's a little bit of history about them on the back, and apparently they went through a lot of lineup changes in the 2 years that they were together. But the music stays pretty consistent, you know, it's all really good. There's a few songs that have like a R&B feel to them, but for the most part it's like British psych. British psychedelia. It's just so good. The Attack. Really good album. Up next, this one I've been looking for a while. This is the Lemonheads. It's a Shame About Ray. Really good album. This is originally came out in 1991. Evan Dando on vocals. This one features Juliana Hatfield from the Blake Babies is on this album too. But this band's gone through some changes too. This is like, I think, their fourth or fifth album. The first album for a major label, but before this they were more of a hardcore punk band, and they started changing their sound. It's more like a 90s alternative, a little bit folky. The song It's a Shame About Ray is excellent. I love that song. But the whole album is really good. They do cover versions of Frank Mills, which is a song from the Broadway production of Hair, and they also do a cover of Simon and Garfunkel's Mrs. Robinson. It's an excellent version of that. But yeah, the Lemonheads, It's a Shame About Ray. This is, by the way, this is Plain Recordings. They issued in 2009. But yeah, great album from the 90s from the Lemonheads. It's a Shame About Ray. Up next, this is Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. This is the US version on Tower Records. This makes the fourth version of this album that I have. I wanted this one because it's the US version. It has See Emily Play on it, which is not on any of the other versions. And there's all the other versions have 11 songs. This one only has 9. And I believe the tracks are remixed because it sounds slightly different than the other versions of this I have. But I've been wanting this for a long time. I love Pink Floyd, and I love this album a lot. It's so good. And this is on Tower Records. This is a later press from 1969 with the striped Tower label, but it sounds really good. I mean, I was amazed at the sound of this. But like I said, it has to me anyway, it has like a slightly different sound to it than the other versions I have. So I'm guessing it's some kind of remix that was done for the US audience. But you all know this album. It's a great album. Pink Floyd, Piper at the Gates of Dawn. Up next, Pink Fairies. This is a reunion album. It's called Kill 'Em and Eat 'Em. This came out in 1987. It features 3 of the original members. Well, not totally original, but has Duncan Sanderson on bass. Twink is on drums and vocals, and also Russell Hunter is on drums. But they have Larry Wallace on guitar, who was, I think, on their last album, Kings of Oblivion. He's on that one. But they have some guy named Andy Colquhoun on guitar and vocals, so I guess he was a new addition to the band. But yeah, it's pretty good. It's not exactly like their earlier stuff, but it's good, hard and heavy rock. Really good stuff from the Pink Fairies. So if you like Pink Fairies and you don't know about this album, it's called Kill 'Em and Eat 'Em from 1987. Good album. Up next, this is Dinosaur Jr., Green Mine. This is their debut, major label debut. This is a reissue on Rhino, I think from about 2009, somewhere around there. But yeah, really good stuff from Dinosaur Jr. Puke and Cry. I Live for That Look. How'd You Pin That One on Me? And the title song, Green Mine. All really good stuff. If you like Dinosaur Jr., J Mask is really good guitar work on this. If you like Dinosaur Jr., you might want to check this one out. Really good stuff. Green Mine from Dinosaur Jr. Up next, this is The Electric Flag, the soundtrack to the movie The Trip. I haven't had this before. I've been wanting this for a long time. It's not bad. It's not as great as I thought it might be, but it's not bad. Pretty good. I don't know a whole lot about the Electric Flag. I know Mike Bloomfield was lead guitar, an excellent guitar player, and Barry Goldberg on organ, piano, and harpsichord, and Buddy Miles on percussion. But really good. Like I said, it's not as good as I thought it might be, but still pretty good. I enjoyed it. The Trip from soundtrack for the movie The Trip by Electric Flag. Really good stuff. The next one, this is Frigid Pink, Defrosted. This is great, man. I mean, I like their first album, but this one, wow. I mean, the guitar work on this is so excellent. It's great, psych, hard and heavy rock from, 1971, I think? I'm not sure. But, yeah, it's a great album. I really enjoyed this one a lot. If you like hard rock from the early 70s, this would be one to check out. Really good stuff. I especially like the song Bye Bye Blues. And I haven't got the time, the last song on side 2. It's great stuff. Really good. Really enjoyed this one. Frigid Pink, Defrosted. This was their second album. And yeah, it has a like kind of unusual for this early of a pressing, but it has a custom label from Parrot Records, which you didn't see that too often back then. But yeah, great album. Frigid Pink, Defrosted. Next up, this is kind of a strange one. This is The Beat of the Earth is the name of the band. The album's called The Electronic Whole. This came out, I think, originally in 1968 or 67. This is their second album. They have another one before this that kind of hard to get a hold of. I'm waiting for a reissue on that. But yeah, this is great stuff. There's not a whole lot of information about the band on here. From what I can make out from the back cover here, Beat of the Earth was actually the name of a nightclub. And I'm not sure if it was where that was. Anyway, I guess it's in California, so I guess it was like on Sunset Strip or something. But it was originally a nightclub called Beat of the Earth, and they had trouble. They kept getting shut down and everything. But I guess the owners started this band and recorded this stuff, and it's just one big long psychedelic jam. It's like there's only 2 songs listed. They take up the whole side of each. They take up each side of the album. But yeah, this, if you like psych, there's sitar, the guitar, some singing, but not a whole lot. Just great stuff. The Beat of the Earth, Electronic Whole. Up next, this is Buffalo, Dead Forever. This originally came out in 1971, I believe. This is a band from Australia. Really good hard rock. Just great stuff. Really good guitar work. Hard and heavy. Sort of like in the vein of Sir Lord Baltimore. Bands like that. But really good. If you like hard rock from the early 70s, especially the Australian variety, check this one out. Really good album by Buffalo, Dead Forever. Up next, this is Spooky Tooth. This is actually the album they did with Pierre Henry, who was a avant-garde composer, and Gary Wright, who was in the band Spooky Tooth at the time. He was a big fan of Pierre Henry, and he convinced the rest of the band to collaborate with Pierre Henry on this album. And the rest of the band, they had a bad experience recording. They didn't enjoy it. They believe that Pierre Henry kind of messed things up. What they did was they went and recorded all this music, and then Pierre Henry took the tapes without the band's knowledge and added all this weird sound effects and stuff to it. But I think this is a pretty good album. I really enjoyed it. There's a lot of info about what was going on with the band. But yeah, if you can get by the weird sound effects that pop up during the duration of listening to this, it's a great album. Great psych guitar, really good harmonies, all that good stuff. The Spooky Tooth Ceremony with Pierre Henry. This is a reissue, obviously. The original had a different cover, but yeah, great stuff from Spooky Tooth. Up next, this is Black Sabbath, Mob Rules. This is originally came out in 1981. This is the second album they did with Ronnie James Dio on vocals. This is really good, man. Tony Iommi was at the top of his game when he was doing this. I mean, all the classic stuff he did in the Ozzy years is great, but this is really good. This one and the other one before this, I showed a few videos ago. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, just great stuff from Black Sabbath. Mob Rules. This is I think a 2009 reissue from Rhino on the Warner Brothers label, but I think this might have been the last album they did from Warner Brothers. After this, they went to like IRS or something, and they kept having personnel changes until it was like Tony Iommi was the only original member. But yeah, this album is great. The Mob Rules, Black Sabbath. Okay, just a couple more here. This one, the Minutemen, Double Nickels on the Dime. It's a great album, and in case you don't know, the title refers to, it's like trucker slang. I mean, double nickels is car speed, like 55 miles an hour, and the dime is Interstate Route 10 that runs through California. So there you go, the phrase double nickels on the dime. But this is an excellent album from the Minutemen. It's got like jazz influences to it. Uh, just great stuff. You know, I don't even know what to compare this to, but I love this album. I mean, I had it years ago on CD, and I liked it then, but I didn't really listen to it that often. But when I found this is a reissue, by the way. I think it's like uh, 2005 reissue on SST. But uh, yeah, this is so good. Just great album, a great groundbreaking album from the Minutemen. If you like hardcore punk with jazzy overtones to it, check out the Minutemen. Double nickels on the dime. Great album. And finally, last one here. This is the Nova Local. The album's Nova 1. This is really good psych from 1968, I believe. This band, I think this is the only album that they put out. Broke up soon after, but such a lost classic. It's just so good. They do a really killer version of Tobacco Road. It's kind of slowed down. If you're familiar with the Swinging Blue Jeans version of that song, it's kind of upbeat. You know, this one is more, it's slowed down, psychedelic. Really, really good. I love this album. Great stuff. They also do a killer version of Morning Dew, which is like a standard of the time that a lot of people recorded. But yeah, Nova Local, Nova 1. If you want to check this one out on YouTube, that's where I checked it out first. But great album, psychedelic all the way, great guitar work, and beautiful harmonies from the band. Similar to Beach Boys maybe, or even the Beatles or whatever, but just great stuff. Nova Local, Nova 1. Great album. Okay, that's it for this week. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope everyone's doing well. Thanks to everybody who subscribed in the last couple of weeks. And I'll see you all again real soon. Take care.